This week on Boy Party, Lucien and I discuss Baz Luhrmann's sexy, chaotic adventure, Moulin Rouge.
The Moulin Rouge, a nightclub, a dance hall and a bordello, ruled over by Harold Zidler, a kingdom of nighttime pleasures, where the rich and powerful came to play with the young and beautiful creatures of the underworld. The most beautiful of these was the one I loved, Satine, a courtesan. She sold her love to men. They called her the Sparkling Diamond, and she was the star of the podcast. The woman I loved is dead. That got a little bit too Rami Malek, I think.
Sure.
Well, I'm Rami Malek.
Well, if it was made today, they would have cast him in the John Leguizamo role. So.
Yeah, they would have. Rami Malek hasn't done a good dwarf performance. We got to get that out of him.
Yeah,
He's definitely got one in him.
He's got it.
Oh, I'm a little small I'm a little bit small. I think my Rami Malek's good. I think it's one of my best
Honestly,
impressions.
I feel like Rami Malek shows up to auditions and is like, can I actually play this role?
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Oppenheimer, I have your files. I don't remember what he does in that movie. I think it's one of my better ones. Welcome to Boy Party, the podcast about movies where two major stars share the screen and, I don't know, dance the fucking, what's the song? Roxanne Tango. This week, we're discussing Baz Luhrmann's Moulin Rouge, exclamation point. Mm-hmm. Best movie ever with an exclamation point in its title. My name is Lucien, and I'm joined as always by the bastard. I'm trying to decide who you're going to be in this situation. You're going to be Jim Broadbent.
I do it,
but I don't know how to describe his character. The
extravagant, gluttonous,
the proprietor of the establishment, with his mustache, his top hat,
his high energy,
and his,
roundness.
Building a business where he gets to be surrounded by sexy ladies all day and all night. It's Shane Kelly.
Musical Ivan Yates, as you call him.
Musical. I kept thinking of Ivan Yates watching this film, which maybe says a lot about me. Yeah. But we are in the middle of Irish election season. I've been listening to a lot of Ivan Yates podcasts. I know. I'm sorry. But
do you think when I see a lot of kind of hypersexual
erotic situations? Yeah, when I see a rotund gentleman in his 60s on television and he is, flapping about like a parrot, I just think of one man that is, gambling kingpin, former Fine Gael minister, Ivan Yates. Pop quiz, Shane Kelly. Mm-hmm. I want you to tell me all the Australians that we've covered on this podcast, because we are talking with Nicole Kidman this week, one of Australia's greatest exports. Okay. An actress, you might say, from Down Under. And I would like you to name for me every Australian we've done on the podcast. This should be an easy one.
Can you give me a number?
That kind of ruins the fun.
Does it?
You start guessing and I'll give you a number to say. I need a count.
Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger.
Yeah, you got one. I'm not going to give you a number. That would ruin the fun. I want you to see how...
Have we done Hugh Jackman?
We have, yep.
We have done
Deadpool and Wolverine, yeah. That's two.
Obviously Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
I'm going through this in my head.
There's more.
I know there's more. Hemsworth?
Chris Hemsworth, well done.
Chris Hemsworth.
Furiosa, I forgot about him. There's either one or two other ones. There might just be one other one.
Might just be one more.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's two others.
Okay.
At least, I'm still counting.
Let's see. So I feel like you started with the most far away, our oldest episodes. Who do we have?
Yeah, there's three others. Yep.
One of the... Not Naomi Watts.
No.
She's Australian, though.
She is. We'll get to her someday.
Kate Blanchett.
No, we haven't done her yet.
I haven't done Kate Blanchett.
Coming up soon. Notes on a Scandal.
I'll
give you a clue. It's getting boring.
It is getting boring.
All right, so there's three. Okay,
give me what's the gender ratio there?
So we got 2 men and a woman.
2 men and a woman.
Yeah, we got dead man, old man, young woman.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Not Rebel Wilson.
No. It's an episode we did a while ago. An episode we did a while ago.
Give me the decades.
Okay,
We'll do the woman first.
The woman.
'Cause I should practice.
The woman has been. We've done her twice. 2010s and 2010s.
2010s and 2010s.
She's one of our only double people we've done twice. The biggest movie star in the world currently.
Oh, Margot
Robbie.
Margot, of course.
Okay, two men.
And 2 men.
Yeah.
So
one that we did like over the summer, and
comedy
then
guy,
and then one
serious
that we
guy.
did in the last month.
One that we did in the last month. Was there one in a Joker?
No.
We covered Heath Ledger twice. What are like the last 4 episodes we did?
This is like the fourth last episode we did. Yeah.
It's not
It
Collateral.
was like 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago.
It's not. I'm actually drawing a blank. I think you
Okay, I'll give you. Okay, with Jeffrey Rush.
Jeffrey Rush.
And then the one I knew you wouldn't get from Network, Peter Finch.
Peter Finch. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have got that.
So
Jeffrey Rush, I'll allow myself
Sure.
to.
So that's a good healthy list of Australians.
Too many, I think.
Too many Australians.
Too many Australians.
You want them to be kicked out of the country?
Yeah.
I think that
I'm
they're making a positive contribution to the film industry.
do. They're sending their best.
I think so.
There.
Mm-hmm.
I was just about to apologize for how terrible and slow that game was, but I do see videos like this on Instagram Reels and TikToks where they go up to people on the street and are like,
and
name
they're
these
awful.
4 things. They're awful, but you know what? I sit there furious, getting all the answers correct while
Yes.
they get them wrong on it.
Yes.
So-
it's fun. It's fun to listen to people guessing things.
It
on
is.
the-
So
on the
I
radio.
like to
Yeah.
think that this was more engaging for people listening to us who have listened to all the
I hope
episodes
so.
and know the answers.
I just don't know how many of those people there really are.
Please let us know if you were screaming.
I have to assume our listeners
your
are
phone.
our listeners have to be less familiar with the like lore of the show than we are. Like, and as we know,
I know, but
Network is
someone-
our least popular episode.
That's true,
so-
but somebody was definitely there shouting Margot Robbie at their phone.
Yeah,
I
I'm
hope
sure.
they were.
Absolutely,
Please.
I hope so.
I hope
Make yourself known.
Yeah.
Moulin Rouge is a film from 2001. It is Baz Luhrmann's third motion picture after Strictly Ballroom and Romeo and Juliet. I think it is his second, third best movie. I was anti-Baz for a while when I was young and stupid. I saw Romeo and Juliet in school, didn't like it, was overwhelmed by it, thought it was just silly and too much. Saw Gatsby when it came out, just kind of didn't get it, didn't really get much out of it. In the last 6 or 7 years have like totally flipped on him. I think now he is wonderful. I think this movie is really fun. I think Romeo and Juliet and Gatsby are both great. I think Elvis is pretty great. I don't really have any interest in Australia or Strictly Ballroom, but 4 out of 6 ain't bad. He certainly made quite an impact with just 6 films and is one of the only directors who kind of gets to make massive, crazy movies whenever he wants about whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And he's just like this weird Australian guy who a gay Australian man with a wife who, makes these crazy movies. And I think he's wonderful. You've seen a few of them, right?
I've seen Elvis.
2 or 3?
I've seen Gatsby.
You seen Romeo and Juliet?
Bits and pieces. I think as well the first 40 minutes were put on in school back then.
King's Speech style. And then they just put it on again.
Yeah. But no, I like what I have seen.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a maximalist of the type that we enjoy, where he is interested in color and movement and things
And I like
constantly moving.
his kind of not trademark thing, but like his blend of kind of period pieces style and then just throwing Kanye into it.
Yeah,
which I find very enjoyable. You can people probably find it tacky, do they?
I love it. I guess people find it tacky. I mean, I think it's also great that he doesn't repeat himself with that. He tries new things in every film. So Romeo and Juliet, you've got fucking Prince and Radiohead playing that film is a modern day gangster thing.
Yeah.
Then you've got this where he basically throws Elton John and Bowie and the Police into this
it's kind of 80s
sexy French whatever. I don't know when this is meant to be set, like late 19th century.
I think these films kind of
1900. Yeah. And then in Gatsby, it's like
Kanye and
Fitzgerald
Lana.
with Kanye and Lana and But Will I Am. And then in Elvis, it's Doja Cat thrown on top of the Elvis
I forgot about
songs.
that. Yeah.
So he is constant, and he made a Netflix show as well, which I haven't mentioned, called The Get Down, which is about the birth of hip hop culture. So for a white Australian, he's very interested in the influence of black music and of hip hop, or I guess how that music has emerged from the origins of popular music.
Yeah.
And I guess This movie doesn't necessarily have a lot of music from 1900 in it, but it is presenting an interesting juxtaposition between that period setting of old cultural Paris and, you know, the sort of cabaret culture of Montmartre and all of this, and he's clashing that with the modern, you know, sexy pop music. And you've got Christina Aguilera singing Lady Marmalade, and Kylie Minogue shows up, and it's just like a perfect stupid mix of things that I kind of like, and I'm like, this is great. I'm so glad he's making movies. They're so stupid, and I think anyone who doesn't enjoy them doesn't know how to have fun. And I can't believe there was a time when, as a teenager, when I was put off by this kind of brash maximalism, because now it's all I crave in cinema.
Yeah, and like he's very particular about the kind of popular music. Like everyone knows all the songs he includes in it, but they don't feel.
I mean, this may as well be Mamma Mia. It's like songs that everyone knows the words to, in a way where he gets to do gags where somebody will be like, I have a funny feeling inside. It's not those that you usually hide. And then he goes, I don't have much money. You know, like he does like 5 of these gags where Ewan starts speaking a song. And
but
then
it's very purposeful, and it's not tacky like Super Mario Bros. Movie or Suicide Squad that just include popular music because it's trendy and it'll get people's attention. Yeah, this is deliberate and he uses it very well. Yeah, I found the first 20 minutes to a half an hour of this to be shot like a very disorienting music video.
Yeah, but as I pointed out to you,
they don't line up.
Yeah, the music cuts of the visuals do not line up with the beats of the music.
They don't.
If they did, it would be more like a music video. Yeah, and I think the problem with The Greatest Showman, which is a film that tries to be Baz Luhrmann, but it doesn't really succeed, is that film is directed like a music video. The guy who made it is a music video director, and every time it cuts, you feel like you're just watching a music video.
Yeah, like trying to keep track of the cuts in this is like trying to count in a time signature that you just can't get. Yeah. Like you're like, what? Oh, fuck. And it's gone.
And also there's like multiple songs playing over each other. Yeah. So in that opening Moulin Rouge number, when Ewan first goes to the club and Jim Broadbent is doing this big number with all the dancers, they are playing, what are they playing? They've got Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yes. Yeah.
They've got Lady Marmalade. They've got, I'm trying to find the like
Roxanne
track list.
Later.
Roxanne is at the end, yeah. What else have they got? They've got Rhythm of the Night. I don't know. There's like loads of songs playing at once, and you're like, this is completely overwhelming. Then they do a romantic medley up on the roof where they have All You Need Is Love, I Was Made for Loving You, One More Night, Pride by U2, Don't Leave Me This Way, Silly Love Songs, Up Where We Belong, Heroes, I Will Always Love You, and Your Song, all blended into one medley.
Yeah, it's insane.
That is like Peter Kay's Children in Need medley, fucking
the old animated.
Yeah, with fucking Jai Ho and Don't Stop and all of these like
elbow at the end.
Yeah, this film's kind of like that. Now, the other thing that you compared it to, which was a very apt comparison, is you said this is Shrek.
This is quite Shrek.
And I pointed out this film and Shrek both played at the same
iteration of Mike Myers.
Yeah, you've got a Scottish guy, and he's introduced to a beautiful forbidden princess. Yeah, and there's all sorts of weird period stuff going on around him, and then lots of pop songs and pop culture references, and then a series of little kind of goon goblin men who are kind of like prowling around like fairy tale characters, trying to cause mischief. Yeah. This film begins with Ewan McGregor as Christian, who is writing about the woman he loved, and you're like, I can't possibly listen to this man speak in this cadence for 2 hours, and then he drops it after 5 minutes. You're like, thank God, I can't possibly listen to this. He moves to Paris to join the Bohemian movement, the Children of the Revolution. This film has such a very loose grasp on French cultural history. It's brilliant. You can tell it was made by an Australian, and was shot in Sydney, Australia. Not a single frame of this was shot in Paris. So. He rocks up, and the drunk Argentinian falls through his ceiling, and there's a group of sort of rapscallion actor types upstairs, including a dwarf played by John Leguizamo, a full-size man, and they are putting on a play which seems appalling, and they recruit him as their young new actor writer friend. Yeah, He then ends up with them in the Moulin Rouge, where he is exposed to Satine performing Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. And this is the incredibly glamorous Nicole Kidman. And she's the most beautiful thing he's ever seen. And his little new friends manage to coordinate a plan where she accidentally thinks that he is a new wealthy benefactor for the Moulin Rouge. So the Duke. So she brings him back to her chambers, where she basically seduces him and, you know, does her kind of goes through the motions of her sort of
flicking her hair, flirting her eyes,
of her sexual behavior that she would be doing if he were a wealthy duke. But he is in fact just a silly man,
and
who
he just
writes
wants to read
plays.
his poems.
Yes. He then starts reciting the lyrics of Your Song by Elton John to her, which is in the narrative of the film is his poem, I guess.
Yeah,
and at which point she starts to like turn her arousal performance up to 11, and she's
rolling around on
the carpet,
roaring and screaming
while he's reciting Elton John lyrics.
Yes,
yeah,
tell me more lines.
Yeah, it's insane. And it also goes on for so long. It's
really funny.
Playing out with all the rhythms of like a London comedy, you know, like Carry On type thing.
Yeah.
Like it is like pure stupid British comedy in the middle of this like insane, crazy musical set in Paris. I mean, I would say it's funny that this film is set in Paris because it has absolutely nothing French about it whatsoever. Like everything about it is either like high energy British, high energy Australian, or high energy American. There's like no like French comedy in this really. But anyway,
that's the best way to experience France.
Exactly, it's through the eyes of other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen this film 3 times. I've enjoyed it a lot every time. I do think it's got huge issues and it really drags for parts. It's two and a bit hours.
Like it's a very disjointed thing where I found it hard to keep track of.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the plot. Satine is like, all you need to know is that she's got the sickness. She's coughing up blood. She seems very ill, but yet she looks like super healthy and glamorous and
does
gorgeous.
A couple of musical numbers in the middle.
Yeah, and like dances and sings and
sure.
seems fine. Yeah. And Ewan is in love with her. They have a relationship, but then the
real Duke shows up.
The real Duke is there, played by the great Richard Roxburgh, and he is a very ridiculous man who talks like this.
Because he's like funding the
Jacob Rees-Mogg-esque man.
He funds the Moulin
Rouge. Yeah. They're all in sort
There's
of.
There's a reason to keep him happy.
Yeah, they have to keep him happy. Yeah. So she's basically like, listen, Christian, I'm going to have to sleep with the Count for business reasons.
Yeah.
And Ewan, could just be chill about it and be like, well, it's a living. But he basically has to go into this like whole moralistic thing about how he doesn't feel comfortable with his lover sleeping with other men for money, and the film kind of turns into like a weird moral debate on being in a relationship with a prostitute, and it's like super. It goes down that road for like 20 minutes, and then they do this like whole Roxanne performance, which is obviously a song kind of about that stuff. I'm just like, why does it need to get in down this direction? Like it's got too many ideas. I think the movie needs to like slow down and focus on speeding up and being high energy and crazy.
Yeah.
And instead it's like, these characters, so interesting. And I'm like, I don't know. Let's just let it be kind of silly,
It is. I don't think it gets too far away from it.
Maybe not.
But yeah, it's like it's not sustainable to keep up what happened in the first 20 minutes.
No.
You would have severe headaches.
Yeah.
If
absolutely. The film couldn't be like that. And Elvis does that too. Elvis speeds up and slows down. And Elvis never speeds up as much as this does. I'm trying to think. Gatsby kind of does that too. Big party scenes, lots of Kanye playing, and then
like I know there was a bit of a struggle at the start of this trying to grasp a sense of location at all in this film. Like shots didn't move in kind of a fluid way, and it's intentional.
It also just doesn't feel like it was shot in a real place. It looks like a set. I mean, the way the camera moves
that's fine.
through the streets. Oh, it's great. I mean, it looks cool, but the way the camera moves through the streets of
looks
Paris.
It looks a bit like the set of Cats.
It does look
like Cats.
Yeah, it does. I mean, Cats is interesting because if you made Cats 20 years earlier, it probably would look like Moulin Rouge. It would be a contrast of weird kind of like paper mache exteriors, which this film, it just looks like miniatures, like the windmills and the rooftops. Funny, this came out a year after Amelie, or the same year, because Amelie has this look as well. And then Cats. And then Cats would also 20 years prior, probably a lot of it would have just taken place in a theatrical
Yeah,
stage setting. Whereas Cats, made in 2019, they're like, oh, but we have the technology to render London in full 360-degree CGI. And you're like, I don't need to see the streets of London like this.
We're Cats apologists here.
Sure, we are. But I do think this film is better than Cats and achieves
Cats
its visual...
could have done a bit more like this.
Yeah, this film like gets its visual sensational stuff done more effectively than Cats, I think.
Yeah, but no, just trying to conceive of how this looks like, it's an incredible achievement.
Yeah,
I think it looks very unique.
it does
very
look
cool.
good. It also does the same thing as Romeo and Juliet, where obviously Romeo and Juliet, everybody goes into Romeo and Juliet knowing how it ends, and this is going to end with the young people tragically dying, and this film like tells you 2 seconds.
But again, I think that's good because if you are sitting there trying to figure out what's going on the entire time,
you need to kind of know the end point.
You need to know the end
point.
It
puts a bit of a direction on the chaos.
It does, and it gives less of a reason to require exposition during it.
It does. So you're like kind of just you're just along
for the ride.
Yeah, and you're kind of just like tunnel vision to heading towards her.
Yeah, she's getting sick,
collapsing and dying.
And this 20-minute musical number will have nothing to do with her.
Yeah,
sick,
nothing at all.
We don't care.
But it casts an air of tragedy and kind of old theatrical tragedy over all of this weird. It'd be
impossible to decipher what
zaniness.
they're going for here.
Yeah,
if it's not projected as a tragedy from the outset.
So it's funny. It does kind of talks down to the audience from the offset, but I think in the best interests of being somewhat coherent. So the casting we looked up, it said that Leonardo DiCaprio had auditioned for the role of Christian after being in Baz's Romeo and Juliet. I am really shocked if this is true and he wasn't given this role. Not because I think he'd be good in it, but just because this is coming off of Titanic. He's the most in-demand young actor in the world. As I said to you, this would be like if you had Chalamet interested in a movie now and you gave the role to Lucas Hedges or something,
Yeah.
Although, no, I'm trying to think, who's today's Ewan McGregor? Who's British and 20?
Not that many young actors as we...
Yeah. Who's like a slightly younger British male actor? Slightly younger.
Dev Patel.
No, younger, less established.
Dev Patel 10 years ago.
Who's your man? I don't know. Who's someone who's been in like one big movie? Kit Connor. Sure. There you go. He's English. Yeah, it'd be like putting Kit Connor in Romeo and Juliet instead of Timothée Chalamet, right?
Sure.
Or in Moulin Rouge. You wouldn't do it.
So sorry, this is post-Trainspotting.
Oh yeah, post-Trainspotting, post-Titanic.
Post-Star Wars?
Post-Phantom Menace, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Ethan Hawke also read for the role. Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal were also considered before Ewan McGregor won the part.
Strong lineup there.
Very strong lineup. God, you'd love now today to have any of those guys competing for roles. Obviously, if Heath Ledger was competing for a role today, it would be as a ghost. But sorry, Heath and Jake are Bokeback boys.
Yeah.
Both auditioned for this.
Yes, they did.
They were considered. Courtney Love auditioned for the role of Satine. That's not true, and I don't want to hear about it. I think that Ewan McGregor is the best choice out of that bunch. I think that Ethan Hawke is too sexy, too cool. He's too cool. He doesn't have he's not enough of a sap.
No.
You've got to be a sap to be in this. You've got to be a very delicate man.
You've got to be Nicole Kidman. No, please put your clothes on. I want to read your poetry.
You have to. It has to be a man who is a little bit, at least a little bit, less sexy than Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Leo's right the same level as her, I would say.
Sure.
And Ethan Hawke is like far too sexy. Jake and Heath, I don't really know. Jake Gyllenhaal's too young for this. Ewan McGregor is perfect because he's like...
No, the other two lads are kind of boyish. Like Ewan McGregor is just kind of...
Ewan McGregor is like English, sappy man, and he
struggles to make eye contact the most.
Struggles to make eye contact, and he's also good at doing these kind of weird, vague accents. I think he is actually meant to be Scottish in this film because they show his father, and his father is like a real Scottish guy.
Sure.
But I think it is funny to just have this like guy who's... Ewan McGregor is good at just playing like... I am from somewhere in Europe, non-specific. Yeah. So he's good in this. I am pro Ewan McGregor, as I am with most actors we discuss on this podcast. I do feel like there is a lot of Ewan McGregor sort of... I think the culture is kind of done with Ewan McGregor in many ways. I think the moment where he felt he had to go back and do more Star Wars was a bit of a turning point of like, nah, I give up. All right.
Is he on TV now?
He's just on TV now. Really? I mean, Ewan McGregor is not starring in movies that get released in cinemas anymore.
When was T2? That was like 2018?
That was 2017. And like T2 did not make an impact outside of
No.
diehard fans. He's a TV star. If you look at his career, he has made, in the last 2 years, 2 massive TV shows, Obi-Wan Kenobi and A Gentleman in Moscow, which was a big show.
Okay.
He has made 2 movies in the last 2 years, which are a film called Bleeding Love, which is about him and his daughter on a road trip.
Did that get a cinema release?
No. And a film called Mother, Couch with him and Ellen Burstyn and Rhys Ifans. These are not real films.
That's just like an English thing.
No, it's an American thing. It's just not a real movie.
No.
The last movie he was in that they got a cinema release that was really, really great.
Yeah.
That he is the best performance of his career. Is that he voices Jiminy Cricket in Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Oh, really? Okay.
And he is unbelievable in it. And I would say very similar performance to Moulin Rouge because he's singing in it. It's a musical. He's got a lovely voice. I think he's got a really good singing voice. I love his singing in this as well. And he plays the cricket and he's like, "Oh, Pinocchio, I am your conscience." And it is a beautiful performance. He is like the fucking heart of that movie. It's so good. I am looking here. He does have a real film coming up from the director of Under the Silver Lake, David Robert Mitchell, called Flowervale Street with Anne Hathaway and him. And
that's a good pairing.
It is being made, and J.J. Abrams is producing it on an $85 million budget, and it's coming out May 2025. It has been shot.
85. Okay.
Yeah, it's been shot, and Hathaway and him are the leads. I think maybe his future as a film actor probably does lie in being the male second lead to a bigger female star. I think maybe
he'll take that.
He can function in that position the way that Billy Crudup does.
Sure.
Where you're like, we're making a Cate Blanchett vehicle.
Yep.
Billy Crudup can play the husband. We're making a Cate Blanchett vehicle or a Julianne Moore movie. John Turturro can play the husband. Mark Strong can play the husband.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor's kind of falling into that category, which I don't think is what he necessarily had hoped for the first 20 years of his career.
Probably not.
He was one of the guys, but
it might loop him back around.
Maybe the man has made it to 54 years old, and he does not have. Sorry, where did I pull that age out of? He's not 54.
Is he younger?
That's. Oh no, maybe he is. He's
that
53.
Sounds right.
53.
53
yeah. No Oscar nominations for Ewan McGregor. Bit of a bummer there. I mean, considering how many of the big directors he's worked with, he's got 4 Golden Globe nominations: 2 for film, 2 for television. Any guesses?
2 for film.
Yeah. So one is for Moulin Rouge.
Okay.
And then the second one, Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy, 2013.
2013.
What were you going to say?
I was going to it was one of the Trainspotting.
No. Is for the very pleasant 4-star film, Salmon Fishing in the Yemen.
Oh, I don't know that.
That's him and Emily Blunt.
Okay.
And then he gets nominated for Fargo and wins. So he has a Golden Globe.
Okay.
And then he gets nominated last year for this Netflix thing called Halston. Again, TV actor. He actually has an Emmy nomination from 1997 for Eeyore, which I didn't realize, which is like right after Trainspotting.
Yeah, Emily Blunt's husband is like
right.
Where
that's where he's going to
end
up now. Like he's not getting considered to play Oppenheimer. I mean, the last big role he was considered for was Doctor Strange.
Has he been in a Nolan?
No. He was considered for Doctor Strange, and he was, I assume, passed over for Cumberbatch because I think he would have loved that role. Yeah. So the last 10 years of his career have been kind of interesting in the sense that he doesn't seem to be able to get long-term work, so he kind of just like faffs about. I'll just go in the last 10 years. These are what he's been in. He's in Mordecai, one of the worst films I've ever seen in my entire life, half-star movie.
God, yeah.
He plays Jesus and Satan in a film called Last Days in the Desert. He is a supporting role in the Don Cheadle, Miles Davis biopic. He's in Jane Got a Gun, supporting role to Natalie Portman. He's in a film called Our Kind of Traitor with Damian Lewis, Stellan Skarsgård. It's like a Le Carre thing. He's in American Pastoral, which he directs, which is based on a Philip Roth novel, and that's his big like, hey, I read books, I'm going to make one of these, which Edward Norton did with Motherless Brooklyn. They all do one. T2. Then he plays the Candlestick in Beauty and the Beast. Then he's in a delightful film, Christopher Robin, where he plays the adult version of Christopher Robin, and he goes back to visit Winnie the Pooh. And it's actually a lovely film. Then he's in Doctor Sleep, which is the Shining sequel that Mike Flanagan makes, where he plays the...
Is that 2017, 2016?
That's 2019.
Okay, so that's... Yeah,
he plays a grown-up version of the kid from The Shining.
That's a good role.
Him and Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah.
It's a good role. It's like a good, but it's a good, the 5th guy we chose for this.
Oh, is it? Okay.
There's no way Ewan McGregor's getting offered that first. I don't know if there's a record of who gets offered Dr. Sleep first, but There's absolutely no way. I'm trying to see here. Like, there's just no way that Ewan McGregor's. Yeah, look, I mean, they wanted Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, as in, there's just no way. Like, he's getting all the shit that DiCaprio, Fassbender, and Christian Bale are turning down.
We're cashed in all the chips in Moulin Rouge.
I think so. We're moving down the list here where we're like, on this podcast, even where we've done DiCaprio, and then we do Christian Bale, and then we do Fassbender. We haven't done Fassbender, but yeah, and you're like, when they all say no, McGregor says yes.
Yeah.
Around this time in the mid 2010s, he does Fargo, which ends his marriage because he leaves his wife for Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who's like 20 years younger than him. Oof. This does not make me like him very much.
No.
And I feel like most people feel the same way. Billy Crudup had a similar situation with his whole thing in the past with Mary Louise Parker. What is it with these Mary something?
Yeah.
But like Ewan McGregor, in his case, there's a age gap, and his wife and kids just seem like a really nice family, and he's just kind of fucking abandons them for this like young, sexy actress.
Are they still together?
Him and Mary are still together. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is good.
And he committed to it.
Yeah, he committed to it. And his daughter, his oldest daughter now, is like making movies with him and was on Jimmy Fallon with him, and they seem to have a good relationship.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But I don't know. It doesn't reflect well on his character that happened. And it's interesting because him and Danny Boyle have always had this famous feud, I guess, that kind of killed Trainspotting 2 for years because Boyle cast DiCaprio in The Beach, and he took it very personally and all of this. And like, I always thought, I always kind of assumed that Ewan McGregor was like a good, nice, chill guy who was sort of in the right there. But now I'm like, well, Danny Boyle is great and seems like a lovely man. Mm-hmm. And Ewan McGregor is like a kind of a philanderer wanker. And I'm like, yeah, actually, and now they're friends again. But I'm like, I think that story probably makes Ewan McGregor look really bad. Anyway, then he's in Birds of Prey, where he plays the villain. So we're talking supporting role to Margot Robbie. And then he's in a movie called Raymond and Ray last year with Ethan Hawke and him as brothers, which is a really fun boy party.
That makes so much sense.
A movie
I always
we will never discuss that. And then he's in,
pair.
and then those movies I mentioned that don't exist. That's his career. That's where he's at right now. I don't think he's doing great. Just has to stick to streaming television is where he kind of belongs. It's a pity.
Yeah, he's one of these names that I feel like is known by everyone, but then you kind of dig into the roots of it, and it's like there's not a lot going on.
I mean, he was being given every opportunity in the mid 2000s because there was one year where he did the main voices in Valiant and Robots. Mm-hmm. As children, I feel like he was being pushed on us as the guy for a while. Angels and Demons is his highest.
Yes.
Yeah, so his highest grossing films are Beauty and the Beast, 4 Star Warses, and Angels and Demons. Mm-hmm. We do love this performance. We must talk about it.
Fantastic.
So he plays an Irish Catholic
for no real reason.
He's like the Pope's number one guy.
He's the Pope's friend. He's like
his right hand man.
Yeah, but he's not a.
Who's the equivalent in Conclave? Is it Fiennes?
Brian
F. O'Byrne. But he doesn't work for the Pope. He works for Ray Fiennes.
Oh, okay.
Is there someone in Conclave who fulfills this role? Is it Lithgow or is it Fiennes?
Is it herself? What? Sorry,
Isabella Rossellini.
Bella Rossellini.
No, because I think the women have a different role.
There's no Pope, though. The Pope's dead, so we don't see this.
But when the Pope dies in Conclave, is there not one guy who's like, I was his closest ally?
No.
Not really. Lithgow kind of pretends to be.
Mr. Lucien.
Mr. Lucien Mbati or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, he's there like, I was the last meeting.
Yeah.
No,
all right, fuck Conclave. Angels and Demons.
Fuck Conclave.
So he plays, tell us about his character in Angels and Demons.
He is an Irish priest in the Vatican, and he's just like...
The film depicts him very sympathetically from the outset.
Very much so. I can't remember what does he do?
He's just kind of like, he's the main, like, he's the guy who's kind of holding the power while they're picking a new pope.
Yes, the conclave is happening. The new pope has been elected, and the 4 primary cardinals, the preferiti, have been kidnapped. And he's like,
Robert Langdon, we must find them.
What's happening? We must find them.
Yeah.
And it turns out in the end that he is working like with the provisional Illuminati,
the provost.
The provost.
Yes.
To kidnap them and kill them.
Yeah.
And he's set up a bomb, but this entire time he's working with the authorities to try and figure it out. And he eventually publicly not disarms the bomb, but rescues the Vatican from the bomb exploding, where he is then made Pope.
Yeah, like overnight in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
they then find a CCTV recording
of him
staging act of violence by Stellan Skarsgård, where he shouts,
brands his own chest.
Yeah,
I was like, he did that. The man with the gun.
He says, "You're the one. He's got a gun. Illuminatus, Illuminatus."
Yeah.
Sanctimonious bastards. So it's
And
great.
then when he gets caught, he does a very kind of half jog, half walk through the Vatican and self-immolates. So
Yeah, it's beautiful.
it's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Great
Oh,
performance.
we love Ethan Hawke. Ewan McGregor. Ethan
Ethan
Hawke.
Hawke, yeah.
His performance in Trainspotting is one of the greats.
Yeah.
I think he's incredible in it.
Yeah.
I really love it so much. I love his syntax in that movie, his line delivery. Some of the stuff he says in that film is just brilliant. I especially I think Trainspotting is one of the greatest films ever made. I love the scene where he's like collecting his things to keep in the room while he's going cold turkey from heroin, and he's like, tins of tomato soup, 4 tins of, and he's just like listing all his bits. I think it's great. He's incredible in like every scene in that film. Amazing performance. I think he's also great in Trainspotting 2.
Yep.
I would have given him Oscar nominations for both. Sad he's never gotten one. I think the issue there is that his best work is in these kind of weird British Danny Boyle films, and he's never really been in like proper Oscar bait. To his credit, he's never been in like muck Oscar bait biopic rubbish.
Yeah.
The closest he's come is probably The Ghostwriter with Pierce Brosnan, which is just kind of like a stupid political drama.
I was saying, watching the film, he could play Robbie Williams in a biopic, but he got pipped by the monkey.
He got pipped by the monkey.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Robbie Williams in a second because we're going to pivot now to talk about Nicole Kidman, who is, again, very similar to him, streaming television star.
Yeah.
In 2024.
But a bigger streaming television.
A bigger
star.
streaming television star. She is the TV streaming television star. I think there is not a single project being made with a female lead for streaming television that is not being offered to her first.
Yeah.
She truly shows up in 3 massive streaming shows every year. In the last couple of years alone, we got Big Little Lies, we got Expats, we got The Undoing, is that the thing with Hugh Grant? We've got 9 Perfect Strangers. She just keeps bashing them out. And, I don't watch most of them. I think most of them look pretty bad. But
Is she Mayor of Easttown, or did I make that up?
No, that's Winslet.
Oh, that's Winslet.
And Winslet has a lot more juice than
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman, I think, when she shows up in this stuff. But Nicole Kidman has a really good fucking air of prestige about her, and she is an Oscar-winning actress, and she commands a lot of authority when she comes on screen. And she's grown on me in the last few years. I used to have not much interest in her as an actress. I'd say for years the only thing I'd really seen her in was stuff like Bewitched and The Golden Compass. It's funny that she's had so many ups and downs in her career, but in like 2007 they determined that she was a big enough star again that they would make her like the villain and basically the lead or the biggest star of The Golden Compass. It's a $200 million kids fantasy thing. It's her and Daniel Craig on the poster, and she plays the like evil lady in it. And that movie is a
Daniel Craig was in that.
massive bomb. Yeah, he plays like the dad. And then on the TV version, they cast James McAvoy and Ruth Wilson. But she
Resurgence is coming.
Yeah, Resurgence is coming in movies because coming out
Oscar
in a couple of weeks. Baby Girl, a film that looks a bit shit, but has gotten good reception in festivals.
Yeah.
Her and Harris Dickinson, who I really like. He's great.
I don't know him at all.
He's really good. He's really good in Scrapper or whatever it was called.
See, I think a lot
year.
of my
Scrapper.
pessimism around Baby Girl is that I've never seen this man, and he just looks
no, he's so good.
sleazy and not interesting.
Nah, he's great.
Okay, I'm
He's
more
really
interested
good.
now.
Is it called Scrapper? Yeah, I think so. The film last year. He plays like a young chav dad to a young girl, and he's like really fun. He's a fun dad. He's great in that, and he's really good in. He was in Trust, the show, the Danny Boyle show with Donald Sutherland and Brendan Fraser about the Getty kidnapping. He plays the boy in that. He's great.
Paul Mescal got Gladiator. He got Baby Girl.
He got Baby Girl
as his reward for being working class dad in a movie.
Exactly. I wonder if you swap those roles, man, the anticipation for Baby Girl would be fucking 10 times more if it was Paul Mescal.
Yeah.
Kind of should be.
I think so.
It should be. Paul Mescal needs to do an erotic thriller
Older woman
with an older actress.
Because
absolutely.
People went crazy when he was like having lunch with Angelina
right?
Jolie.
Maybe he's going to do that with
Maybe.
Angelina. God, why is Angelina Jolie so bad at picking roles? I mean, I don't think she's a good actress, but could she not get Baby Girl if she wanted it? Why is she doing a Maria Callas movie for?
Yeah.
Do Baby Girl. People would go nuts if she did something like that.
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman has done so much TV at this point where she plays these kind of like sexy older women that I feel like Baby Girl actually has a little bit less novelty with her, even though people are excited for it. But like Angelina Jolie and Paul Mescal, like or whoever. Paul Mescal could do something with Kate Blanchett. He could do something with Julianne Moore. Something with Tilda Swinton.
I think that's what he needs.
Ooh, he needs to do something like that.
I think so.
It would make him seem younger as well. Like it would reposition him as a guy in his 20s. I think.
Yeah, that's one.
The problem in
review I
Gladiator,
read of Gladiator is that like they've taken this very kind of boyish, charming man who should be
They've
being
made him
cheeky
45,
and made him stern and grumpy and
cheeky. Maybe he should be in the Robbie Williams biopic.
He's in the Beatles biopic.
Yeah, so apparently he's playing Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney have any affairs with older women? We can,
I think that might work.
That might work.
I think that could be the way to go with this.
Nicole Kidman, anyway, is famously, of course, stars with her ex-husband, Tom Cruise, in Eyes Wide Shut, which is my favorite performance of hers. She's wonderful. But I think she's really good in this movie, too. What are we talking about? Moulin Rouge. I forgot for a second there.
You were lost in the Nicole Kidman thought.
She's funny in this. I mean, she doesn't really have, like, that much to do. I mean, she does a good...
She has a couple of musical numbers.
She's good musical numbers.
Yeah.
She's really funny when she's, like, putting on the act of arousal for his sake in that first scene. And then when she's dying and sick, she sells it. She wins her Oscar right around this time, the year after, for The Hours, in which, I think it's Denzel who famously announces that she's won, and he goes, "By a nose, Nicole Kidman," because she wears a big fake nose in that movie.
Oh, that's funny.
There is a chance this year that we're going to repeat the 2002 Oscar wins with Adrian Brody and Nicole Kidman. I don't feel like that's the way the wind is blowing right now, but I actually don't really know what way the wind is blowing. Mm-hmm. So, but she wins her Oscar around this time, but then she also kind of goes down the route of music briefly, because we watched last night the music video, and this is right after Moulin Rouge, and Come What May is released as a single, and it's a big hit. She does, with Robbie Williams, a cover of Something Stupid by Frank and Nancy Sinatra, and it's not great, but it's okay. The video is super hypersexual of the two of them in bed together.
He's really, just like licking her stomach.
Yeah, really surprised how crazy it goes, and would never have been done a few years later.
Like, it's a pretty flat performance.
Yeah, it is. And like the song, the way their vocals are just not, they don't do anything together.
No, that type of song doesn't suit Robbie Williams at all.
Their voices just cancel each other out. There's nothing going on there. She's fine.
She's better than him, I think.
Would you believe that in 2022, she released a new version? No, never mind. Never mind. Oh my God. I was reading this as Something Stupid. No, she released a cover of Say Something by A Great Big World with Luke Evans.
Oh.
What's going on there?
Not Say Something.
No,
Justin Timberlake featuring
Say
Chris
Something,
Stapleton.
I'm giving up on you.
Oh, that's a real Something Stupid.
It's one of the worst songs ever written. She did a cover of that with Luke Evans, the Welsh actor.
Yeah.
That's so random. She also performed a version of Kiss by Prince on the Happy Feet soundtrack, which she's in.
Okay.
And she sings a song in the movie 9, that weird Daniel Day-Lewis movie that's very Moulin Rouge coded.
I don't.
It's this like Rob Marshall movie with Daniel Day-Lewis. It's a sequel to 8.5. It's set in like a cabaret club. It's her, Judi Dench, Fergie, Marion Cotillard, Penelope Cruz. How did I just pronounce Penelope Cruz's name? Penelope, and she performs a song in that. So she's still singing here and there. So she's kept up the music on the side. But anyway.
Do you think she was asked to be in Cats?
Ooh, maybe. She's never worked with Tom Hooper.
No.
Do you know what her number one box office hit is? She's only in one movie that has made $1 billion.
Is it one of the random franchisee things?
Sure. Yeah. The movie is Aquaman, in which she plays Aquaman's mother.
Yeah.
She's in Aquaman, Aquaman 2, Happy Feet, Batman Forever. She's very good in that.
I feel like
Paddington
being in one of those throwaway DC things is like a good way to make a lot of money. And
no one will worry about it. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Exactly, because if you're in Marvel, you'll have to come back.
Yeah.
But DC will never make you come back.
Yeah, because they just collapse before anything gets built.
Yeah, she's in Just Go With It, where she plays Devlin.
Oh,
she has like a pretty big role in that.
Yeah.
This is the Adam Sandler Jennifer Aniston movie where Nicole Kidman is Jennifer Aniston is basically pretending to be this woman that she knows from college. Mm-hmm. And then she actually runs into her.
Oh, and she's with...
and her husband is Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun, because he's kind of similar to Nicole Kidman's real-life husband, Keith Urban, who's another kind of like scruffy singer.
They're married.
Yeah, they're married.
That's so funny.
I mean, if you were married to Tom Cruise, and he was crazy and Scientologist and driving you insane for years and probably sending hitmen after you, you would probably want to be married to like a boring country singer.
This is the plot of Worst Person in the World.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. She also does a lot of movies where she just plays like nice Australian mother. Like she's in Lion. She's in Boy Erased. She's in The Upside, the Les Intouchables remake with Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart. The Northman. She plays the mother in that. Like that to me is not that much different from Aquaman.
No.
She plays Gretchen Carlson in Bombshell, which is like the one performance in that film that hasn't really stuck with me. Like Charlize plays Megan Kelly.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie plays a kind of a made-up character. I don't remember Nicole Kidman being in that very much.
Yeah, she was probably at the lowest point of her powers of the three of them.
Probably just before the TV. And then she's in The Goldfinch, which is a film I really perversely like, the John Crowley film, where she plays...
Is she the mother? No.
She plays the mother, and she gets killed in a terrorist attack in the first 10 minutes. She gets the end. Yeah.
It's a good end.
Yeah, right. I like Nicole Kidman. She's not my favorite actress in the world, but she's good. And I think
her moments in the early 2000s were
she's good in this. And I think there's like a good future of Nicole Kidman roles if she makes more movies and less TV.
You'd like to see that.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, same.
So we do the box office. Do we have any other of our little questions we should answer? Who wins the movie? Of the two of them, I'd say Ewan a little bit.
Neither.
He has more to do. He has more to do. Sorry, who wins the movie? Jim Broadbent. Who is incredible in this. So Jim Broadbent actually wins his Oscar this year.
Broadman himself.
For Iris. And I'm so glad Jim Broadbent has an Oscar. It feels like he's the only one of those guys who like snuck through and got an Oscar. You know, like Tom Wilkinson was never going to get an Oscar. But Broadbent got one. And he is fantastic in this. He plays
Rory Kinnear's never going to
Rory Kinnear's never get an Oscar. Jim Broadbent is, he's kind of like Rory Kinnear. But he plays this very silly man.
That's your Homer Simpson.
That's my Homer Simpson. I am Jim Broadbent. What's my Jim Broadbent impression? A little bear. Hello. Anyway, he plays this like ridiculous man who runs the Moulin Rouge, and he's kind of creepy, but he's harmless.
You got a bit of Sonic Dr. Eggman to him, like.
Yes, and he gets to perform like a virgin.
Oh, he does.
To Richard Roxburgh, and he's like touched for the very first time. It's so good. It's such a great role for like an old British character actor.
Oh, and he goes
brilliant.
Hard.
He goes fully 11 out of 10 on this. It's brilliant. It's great. I love it so much. This is what acting is all about.
Yeah.
What's the billing on the poster? This is a good question now. Nicole Kidman, Ewan McGregor.
That makes sense.
I don't recall anything different on the credits.
I don't either.
I think that's fine. Yeah, fair enough. Any other questions? No, not really. She gets her Oscar soon after this, and Ewan never gets one. All right. This film was released in the United States on the 1st of June, 2001.
Very good.
A few weeks after its Cannes premiere, where it premiered alongside Shrek and Mulholland Drive. Mulholland Drive. Sorry, apologies.
Mulholland Rouge. Probably open to like 4 screens and not going to be there. So that's
all right. Fair enough.
But,
all right. Hit me.
Hit you. All right. We just spoke about it.
Shrek. What are you doing in my Moulin Rouge? Very good. That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Number 2.
Okay.
A sequel. Starring a recent Oscar winner.
Recent as in this year?
No, like the last 3 years.
Oh, I don't know. A sequel from 2002. Summer of 2002. Oh, Men in Black.
No.
2. No? Oh,
No.
Interesting. Recent Oscar winner. Man.
Yeah.
A man who won Best Actor?
Yeah.
So not Cillian Murphy. And not Will Smith. So Brendan Fraser, this movie's The Mummy Returns.
This is The Mummy Returns.
I don't even know if I've seen this one. This is the one that has famously shit CGI on the rock.
Oh, on the rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
No real interest in that.
Next up, starring an Aussie man.
The Aussie man Russell Crowe?
Nope.
The Aussie man being Hugh Jackman?
Mm-mm.
The Aussie man being Ozymandias? The Aussie man
The Aussie man dies.
The Ozymandias?
He's an Aussie man who has died.
Is it? He's died. Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
And then Ned Kelly. Knight's Tale.
Knight's Tale.
Yeah. People who like A Knight's Tale watched a lot of fucking Sky One in the 2000s. Like,
has a bit of that to it, yeah.
Yeah. No thanks.
Next up, a film I don't know.
Okay.
We got a lot of fun guys in here. We got the
Mushroom Men. Fun guys.
Nah. We got a little Terrence Howard.
Oh.
Bit of Jim Caviezel.
This sounds like something I wouldn't watch with the gun to my head.
first name of this the lead character's the lead character's name is Sharon Pogue, which sounds like an Irish name.
Yeah, it does.
But it is not by an Irish accent. An Irish actress.
Oh God, I don't know.
This is Jennifer Lopez playing Sharon Pogue
I don't know what this
in
movie
a
is.
Louis Mandoki film.
I have no idea what this is.
This
Tell me.
is Angel Eyes.
Yeah, I know the name, but no.
The deeper you look, the more you'll find. Open at number 4.
The deeper you look, the darker it gets. Closer you look, the darker it gets. I don't remember what that's the tagline. Nightcrawler, something like that. Anyway, I'm just rambling.
In your dreams, you are them.
No, it's if he is in your dreams, nothing will stand against them.
Nothing will stand against them. That's it. I'm glad you knew what I was
Of
talking
course,
about
it's the Identical.
gibberish.
It's my favorite film, The Identical.
Next, number 5, British woman film.
Calendar Girls. No. Bridget Jones.
Yeah, Bridget Jones.
Easy peasy. He was one of those two.
Next up, I've never heard of this.
Bridget Jones still pumping those out 23 years later.
And you know what? Still biggest films in Ireland.
They are, yeah. What's this next one? I don't know.
A Lee Tamahori film.
Ooh, I am familiar with Lee Tamahori, but not necessarily with what films he's made. So
Morgan Freeman is in this.
Morgan Freeman's in my fucking Christmas card.
This is Along Came a Spider.
Oh, right, okay. That's a real movie.
It's a real movie.
Him and Ashley Judd.
It is him and
Ashley Judd.
Monica Potter.
From Parenthood. It's my girl. Monica
Righto.
Potter. She plays Nicolas Cage's girlfriend at the start of Con Air.
I'm not particularly enthused by any of the films on the
Let's
rest
wrap
of
it
this
up
top
then.
10.
Let's wrap it up.
We
We're at
go
51
with
minutes.
Driven, Blow, Spy Kids, Memento.
Crap list. Okay. Thanks for 2001, not the best year.
Sure.
Thank you for tuning in. Yeah. I mean, Moulin Rouge has incredible right before 9/11 vibes.
Yeah, you couldn't make
You couldn't make it
I'm
in
not gonna
October.
make the joke
Yeah.
again. But
No. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you've all enjoyed the Moulin Rouge. Please get home
sure
safe. Do not bring any of the rouge with you when you leave. We'll be back next week where we will be discussing Don't Spill Your Beans.
I hope you don't mind.
More silly voices
I hope you don't mind.
that I put down in words.
How
wonderful life is
when
now
boy
you're
parties in the world.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.